So, hey guys, today we're taking a look at the new cards once again. So, I heard at some point, like probably last year-ish, that K9 was supposed to be like really good, I guess. So it makes sense that they saved it for, I guess, the anniversary then, huh? When were the last anniversaries? What did they save for those? So, I think the first one was like probably near Tearlament Sprite release. Like one of the two. I think it was Sprite, and then Tearlament was released later, and then after that, not really sure what happened the next year. But the year after that, I think, was probably Snake Eye. So if anyone can remember what was released like on around the second anniversary, remind me. It's making me stutter. Really having troubles here. But all right, let's get through all the new cards. All right. Well, the percentage of actually new cards I think is a little bit higher than usual. Not really 100% sure. But alright. Topologic Blaster Dragon. New Topologic. Very epic. You cannot summon slash set monsters to any extra monster zone this card points to. Uh, wait. This is different. If we look in related cards, can we see, I think it should be here, right? This is different from Zeroboros, where you cannot summon slash set monsters to any extra monsters on this card points to. No, wait, that's the same. Maybe I'm losing it. Okay, I thought you couldn't summon to a period for some reason, but it's only to the extra monster zones. But it's the same type of arrows, actually, so seems like it works fairly similarly. But wait, because of its link rating, we could technically resolve as the Zeroboros. And then when it comes back, we can convert it to Blaster Dragon, technically, and put this in an EMZ, I guess. Well, okay. Let's see if this is mandatory as well. If another monster is special zoned into a zone a link monster points to, well, this card is in the extra monster zone, apply one of these effects, but you cannot apply that same effect of Topologic Blaster Dragon again this turn. Shuffle all other monsters on the field into the deck. Shuffle all spells slash traps on the field into the deck. Okay, your opponent's extra deck and banish one card from it. Oh. Blast effect. This doesn't remove any monsters either. Oh, damn. And it's a Cybers. Nah. Dragon. Cybers, Cybers. Dragon, Dragon. Cybers, Cybers. Have these always been Cybers? Yes. But you wouldn't really summon those because this one not really that useful. But, ooh. Extra deck rip? Really? How am I supposed to feel about that? Aside from that, we have shuffle all of their monsters on the field into the deck, and then shuffle all spell slash traps on the field into the deck. So, uh, this first effect isn't actually that good because your opponent can just immediately trigger it. I guess it does help that it's not targeting a little bit, but it's not necessarily that good. For example, if I'm playing Yummy, I can just immediately trigger this. So this effect's never going to be applicable. This one we can avoid just by having enough cards in our extra deck, kinda, right? Just duplicates of the actually important cards, so that won't do anything. And then shuffle all spells slash traps on the field into the deck. There won't be any on the field. Except, wait, shuffle all other monsters on the field into the deck. That means this will include your own monsters, so. Oh. That changes things, doesn't it? So if I special summon a monster to one of the zones this points to, it gets shuffled into the deck. And I also have the ability to just not do that and do one of these other options as well. So that makes this effect simultaneously good and not good at the same time. It's good in the sense that you don't have to use the effect, but it's bad in the sense that, of course, that this is like Nibiruing your own board. Getting mixed messages here, but affecting both players' cards already makes this rough. I guess for the back row one, if I'm not playing any back row for this to like put back, it's not going to be that bad, I guess. Alright, next card. Floral Shroud Dragon. 3+ affect monsters, your opponent can attribute this face-up card on the field. Yeah, I can't think when that would actually be relevant. When was the last time your opponent tributed anything off your field? Well, I mean, if a new archetype does it, I guess it could be relevant, but alright. Once per turn, during the main phase, quick effect, you can target one Rokket monster you control, negate the effects of one face card your opponent controls, then destroy that targeted monster. Negate, then destroy? Okay. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. Wait. This is weaker, actually, than the other Boral, because it's only your opponent's card, so you can't just willy-nilly summon like a Rokket monster for free. Versus like Boral End, which you can use to negate any effect monster of yours, right? So like a Rokket you don't want to use, whatever, right? Okay, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Notably though, this is not hard once per turn. Not sure how to feel about that. Once while face up on the field, at the start of the battle phase, you can special summon one Link 4 or lower Boral Link monster from your extra deck. Unless they printed a new Boral card, I don't think there's a Boral Link monster with these conditions that's really that good. I think the thing you're probably supposed to be summoning is going to be Code. And then what does this do? The start of the damage step if this was Link summoned. So it wasn't. Banish this card from the graveyard. Banish one dark monster with 3,000 or more attack from the field if you do special summon one topologic monster from your extra deck or graveyard. Okay. Cannot be destroyed by card effects, so Link monster points to it. Yeah, that's not that useful, but is that one the intended target considering they released like a topologic card? This card seems like terrible, honestly, since Borland already exists. I mean, I could change my mind if there are more cards that have some relevant synergy. You can detach one material from this card, add one canine card from your deck to your hand, then if your opponent has activated a monster effect this turn, you can set one canine quick play spell from your deck or graveyard. When your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or graveyard quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, negate that effect. Okay. So this is a monster negate, but this only negates hand or graveyard, so it will not negate on field effects, which is a little bit awkward. This is generic to make, generic rank 5, but at the moment, well, if we look at before any of these cards were released, name a single deck that makes rank 5s. Apparently, the only deck that did this was like Memento, and they just used this to make Paradise Smasher. Yeah. And they actually had to go fairly out of their way to do it, like moderately. So, yeah. It's generic, but not really. It's generic in the sense that you can summon it generically, but not generic in the sense that there's no decks that really easily meet this condition. I guess Automat can meet this condition more freely, but you have to open Autumn out of Era, I think, or no, Autumn out of Pickup, and then you need to actually special summon like Gaga Magician to adjust the level 5 because I don't think they have any level 5s. So yeah, Giga awkward. And then this effect here is kind of awkward actually, for a few reasons. This looks a little bit awkward. So firstly, whenever you activate A917 Ripper here, well, if I immediately summon this at the start of my turn, right, and then activate the effect to search, well, my opponent wouldn't have necessarily activated any monster effects, so I think you want to do this as like one of the last actions in your turn then in theory to get mileage out of this effect at the bottom here to get this quick play spell. But also I don't know how like relevant any of the quick play spells are because you set quick play. If you set a quick play, you cannot activate it because it effectively becomes a trap. So you have to wait a turn before it can activate, and you can't just pick it up off the field, right? Because it's set and it's kind of committed. So that's how that works. So this generically adds a K9 card though, which might be relevant for something, not 100% sure. But if you do make this early as well, this actually does protect you from hand traps. So you can use it to protect from hand traps, I guess, and then use this effect later. This actually protects you from Nibiru, funnily enough, because Nibiru is in fact a monster that activates in the hand, and it only negates the effect. So notably, if it were a Nibiru, this trades a material off of the Ripper, but of course you do get to set the quick play. But your opponent will keep the Nibiru, which I don't know if that matters or not, but just an observation really. K9 X Werewolf. Rank 9 now? Huh. Weird. So rank 9s are much more generically and easily accessible, and that this is notable by the fact that every deck and their mother was dropping a true king of all calamities. So a little bit more accessible, I guess. But yeah. While this card has material, it can attack a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of materials attached to it. So if it has 0 materials, you can't attack with this card. How random. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, then activate this effect depending on whose turn it is. If it is your turn, bash up to 1 card each from your opponent's field in graveyard. Opponents, look at your opponent's hand and bash 1 card from it face up until that face. What the hell is that? That's disgusting. Actually degenerate. When your opponent does anything, activates a card or effect, you can then just hand rip them? What? They banned a card for this. Do you guys not remember a pointer? That was a trap. And they banned this, right? Now this is on a extra deck piece, which means you just generically make this. I don't know how easy this is to make in K9, but like, are you joking? This is legit bar for bar a pointer, except you have to wait for your opponent to breathe, essentially. But yeah, if you're really impatient, even, you could, I guess, just summon a guy to your opponent's field. That's mandatory trigger, right? Then they're forced to activate, and then that's a legitimate hand rip before they can even do anything in the main phase. Well, I don't really like that, but all right, I guess. Oh, speaking of which, there isn't a single mention of K9 anywhere on this card. I thought I'd throw that out there. Yeah. All right. Junk Warrior Extreme. If this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon as many level 2 or lower monsters as possible from your graveyard, but neither player can activate those monsters' effects this turn. Also, you can only special summon 1 more time this turn. Huh. I mean, that's not necessarily that bad, I guess. It does require a junk synchron to make, though. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can banish this card, special summon one junk synchro monster from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. That effect might be good if there's a really good junk synchro, I guess. You can just do this technically the end of your combo. So not that bad, I guess. But you need specifically junk synchron. It feels very anime coded. Unless there's some way to meet that condition, I guess. There's some cards that can count as junk synchron, I believe. And that would be like, where is it? I think it was guy that had like a gun body. I don't think he's here though. Yeah, I believe it's like a level 5 that you special summon from your hand. And he is a synchron. So I guess if I go to speeder, it should show up. Here. No, he doesn't have a gun body, he just has a gun. Okay, never mind. I was thinking of a Digimon. But yeah. You can substitute this card for any one synchron tuner. So I mean, yeah. You could maybe make it that way. Next, Live Twin Lila Suite. New Live Twin card, I guess. When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your Live Twin card or effect, activation quick effect, you can discard this card to negate that opponent's effect. That's just generically good, I guess. You can use this for going second or going first, I suppose. So if I were to normal summon like one of my live twins, my opponent tries to drop a maxi, boom, activate live twin Lila Suite, no maxi. Like, that's a thing, I guess. If you control a Kisa kill monster and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. But while it is face up in the monster zone, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for fiend monsters. Okay. So if you use this, it can also be an extra body, I guess. Body to make what though? This deck hella fiend locks you. No idea what you intended to make, unless they maybe released a new card. Well, alright. K9 17 Izuna. If your opponent has 2 or more cards in their hand, you normal summon this card without attributing. You can only use each of the following effects of K9 17 Izuna once per turn. During the main phase, if your opponent has activated a monster effect, the hand or graveyard this turn quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. This card is one more special summon, you can send one K9 card from your deck to graveyard except for K9 17 Izuna. Okay, this doesn't really do anything yet by itself, right? We'll have to see. K966A Jokul. If your opponent has 2 or more cards in their hand, you normal summon this card without attributing. Wait, you're telling me if my opponent has no cards in hand, I can't normal summon my monsters? That's kinda... But okay. That's different. You can only use each of the following effects of K966A Jokul once per turn. You can reveal this card and one other level 5 monster in your hand, special summon both. But they cannot be used as material for the XYZ summon of a light monster, so that's preventing you from going into the artifact cards, which are basically, well, not just the artifact cards, but I think there's like a Constellar as well. They're basically the only good rank 5s from what I remember. So, okay, I guess. During your main phase, you can add one non-aqua K9 monster from your deck to your hand. So if I did that with, let's say, an artifact site for no real reason, that could add me an Izuna, and I wouldn't be able to do that much with Izuna, right? Well, I guess this special summons itself. If I normal summon this card, I can add a K9 of some sort. Well, the two UR cards like aren't combo by themselves, I guess, unless like you were to Joko reveal Izuna. Okay. Vanquish Soul Holy Suit. Ah, and Xiaolong as well. They're both level 5s. But that doesn't seem to really do anything yet, right? We'll see, I guess. Vanquish Soul Holy Suit. During the main phase, quick effect, you can reveal one other Vanquish Soul monster in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand. Okay. Quick effect, you can activate one of these effects by revealing monsters in your hand with the listed attributes. Earth, Dark, take control of one monster your opponent controls with the lowest attack. Your choice if tied until then phase. Ooh. Fire and Dark. Special summon one non-psychic Vanquish Soul monster from your deck. Ooh. And if you were to summon Holy Sue, you can use this to also make that rank 5, right? Ooh, that's something. And then if you hand trap this, they get to set that K9 quick play spell, which I'm not sure what it does yet, because I haven't seen it yet, but alright. And this is just any Vanquish Soul monster from your deck? Yeah. Aside from this one. That's the only psychic. Okay, Rocket Loader. If this card is normally special summon, you can add one level 7 Dark Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra for the rest of this turn except for Dark monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field. It becomes dark until the end of this turn. So I think this is supposed to add that one Rocket guy, the like Bagley Rocket related level 7. That's the intended target. You could technically add like um, what could you add? Like a few Red Eyes related monsters, I guess. Not 100% sure what else you could add. I would have to check. But yeah, basically the guy can special summon itself what if you control a rocket monster, and then whenever it is sent to the graveyard, it searches a rocket monster. It's that guy. And I guess this is just a non-tuner target that you'll choose now for what's his face? Rocket Tracer? Sucks that it's a UR though, I guess, but whatever. It's basically the guy that you send with Dragon Ravine. Anyway, Junkmeister. You can reveal one warrior Stardust Synchro monster in your extra deck. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for Synchro monsters. If this card is normally special summon, you can add one junk card from your deck to your hand, except for Junkmeister. You can target one junk monster you control, reduce its level by up to 2. So you could reduce it by 1 or 2. And it's only junk monsters. But that includes itself. So it counts as level 4, 3, 2. Okay. A case for K9. Continuous spell. This only sets quick plays from what I remember, right? Yes. When this card is activated, you can add one K9 monster from your deck to your hand. K9 monsters you control gain 900 attack during any turn in which your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard. Okay. If this card in the spell and trap zone is destroyed by card effect, so this could be either plays card effects, you can set one K9 quick play spell from your deck or graveyard. Same kind of effect again. You can only use this effect of a case for K9 once per turn. You can only activate a case for K9 per turn. Alright. So this is a starter, I guess. It can add a K9. Evil Twin Kiss a Kill Deal. You can only link summon Evil Twin Kiss a Kill Deal once per turn. You can send one Lila monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard to apply this effect. This turn, each time your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your Kiss a Kill or Lila monster effect activation, draw one card when that card/effect resolves. What? Confusing. But I mean that affect's in general like good, I guess. Boral Dragon. If this card is link summoned, you can add one rapid trigger, heavy interlock, or double interlock from your deck to your hand. You know? Pretty nice because you just didn't have a way to search those cards. Pretty awkward since they were like archetypal cards, so you just had to hard open them and then use them. Or you wouldn't use them at all. Yeah. Okay. You can target one face-up card you control and one Dark Dragon monster in your graveyard. Destroy that card on field, and if you do, add that other monster from your graveyard to your hand. Wait, what? Okay, one face-up card you control and one Dark Dragon monster in your graveyard. Destroy that card if you add that other monster from the graveyard to your hand. Oh. Huh. What am I destroying here? Not really sure. Well, I mean, specifically, like, Rapid Trigger is technically one of the best targets, but the effect to destroy here is not quick play. I mean, if this was set, I target this, destroy, chain, Rapid Trigger, that'd be, like, pretty nice. But, whatever, I guess. Breach Boral Dragon. If this card is link summoned, you can add one Boral spell trap from your deck to your hand. Nice. Quick effect, you can target one dark monster you control, it gains 500 attack. Or if it is no longer on the field, you can special summon one rocky monster from your deck in defense position instead. Well, all I'm going to say here is for some reason, Boral is going to be able to, like, extra deck rip you, like, an insane amount of times now. How am I supposed to feel about that? Yeah, so, let's see. Bayonet Punisher. Right here, if I control a monster with 3,000 or more attack, it doesn't really matter, right? This applies this effect depending on the type of floral monsters I control or that are in my graveyard, right? So I can just, with Bayonet Punisher, banish 3 cards from my opponent's extra deck face up randomly, and then you actually also have Silver Rocket, which has this effect, and then you have that um what's it called, Topologic, that banishes cards. So this is going to be able to rip like 5 of your opponent's extra deck cards for pretty much no reason, I would argue, but okay, sure. Well, wait, Silver Rocket activates twice. That thing, the Topologic activates twice, so that's like 4 activations, and then Bayonet, that's 3. So that's actually banishing 7 cards from your opponent's extra deck. Hmm. Okay, you can just do that now. New rank 5 monster. Alright, Valen the Super Sky Blaster. Generic 5. During the main phase, quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense position. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 face-down card on the field, destroy it. So, technically, if this gets sent to the graveyard, it doesn't need to be sent from field, so you can... This is technically, like, another target that you can send from your extra deck for whatever cards. Oh, okay. And this targets any face-down cards. So, like, back row as well. Not really better than Entis, no, but alright. Then we have this effect, which is just a Book of Moon. But there's no card once return on this effect. So it's actually 2 Book of Moons attached to 1 card. So this card's like decent, I guess. Scrap Warrior, Scrap Synchron plus 1+ non-tuners monsters you control that mention Junk Warrior or are synchro monsters with Warrior in the original name cannot have their activated effects negated except for Scrap Warrior. If this card is synchro summon, you take 1 Junk Synchron or 1 card that mentions Junk Warrior from your Yeah, can either add to your hand or send it to the graveyard. I think that's to help you summon the 8, then probably. Borreload Fatal Flare Dragon. New Boreal Fusion. Alright. 1 Dark Link monster plus 1 Dark monster. It's fairly generic, so super poly target, I guess. Well, in some cases. If this card is fusion summon, you add 1 Rokket monster from your deck to your hand. You can target 1 dark monster you control, equip it with 1 dark link monster from your graveyard or banishment as an equipped spell that gives it 500 attack. This card is sent to the graveyard as link material. You can target 1 card on field, destroy. Wait, what? So you fusion summon this. This will add a Rokket monster from your deck to your hand. Okay. You can target 1 dark monster you control, equip it with 1 dark link monster from your graveyard or banishment as an equipped spell. So it's only graveyard or banishment. I guess this is to recycle your like striker dragons for some reason. And then if you link this off specifically, it becomes a pop. Why would I want to use this as a pop? But with this effect here, this makes sense because then I'll have a target for this effect. I'll just target a link monster, right? In the back. So I could do that with Warlord Savage or this card. Oh, that makes sense, I guess. K966B Lantern. If your opponent has 2 or more cards in their hand, you can normal summon this card without tributing. You can only use each of the following effects of K966B Lantern once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 level 5 non-Pyro K9 monster in your graveyard, special summon both it and this card, but they cannot be used as material for the XYZ summon of a light monster. Okay, I guess. During your main phase, you can add 1 K9 spell trap from your deck to your hand. So if this gets summoned, I guess this can search a K9 spell trap that can add you something. K900 Lupus. An XYZ monster that has this card as material gains this effect. Any XYZ monster with this card as material. Okay. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. The Book of Moon guy, it can just be like not targetable. It's pretty annoying, actually. I mean, I guess you can drop a Raigeki at least. During the main phase, if your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard this turn, quick effect. Wait, what? That's either main phase. If your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard this turn, quick effect, you can special summon this card from hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. During your opponent's turn, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves. XYZ summon using this card you control. Wait. Hand or graveyard? So that's something to be used in tandem with Izuna, I guess, right? Send a K9 card, right? Uh-huh. Special summon this card from your hand. During the main phase, if your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard. So they have to activate 2 effects either in the hand or graveyard for you to actually be able to do this, right? No, it's just 1 at any point in time, right? Oh. Doesn't have to be in response, it just requires that to have happened. Huh. That's Book of Moon for 2, right? Not targetable. If your opponent just activates the card in hand. Oh. like a monster effect, but still. So one monster activates in hand. So I guess let's say I'm playing Branded, my Foolish Burial Tragedy. I mean, it doesn't really matter in this case, right? But in theory, you can just make this off of that one activation, right? Ah, K904 no Roy. If your opponent has two or more cards in their hand, you normal summon this card without tributing. Same effect as always. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is normal summon, you can special summon one non-machine K9 monster from your deck, but you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for K9 monsters. Well, you control that face-up monster. Not this monster, that monster. Strange, but okay. You can send one face-up K9 card you control to the graveyard. Look at your opponent's hand. Ooh, not that again. And knowledge. What's this say? If this card is destroyed by card effect. But you can just send this because it's not doing anything, right? This is only on activation. If you don't care about the attack game effect, right? Then you can just send a case where K9 and then look at your opponent's hand. Yeah. Great. K9 X Force Release. During the main phase, target one K9 XYZ monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck one K9 XYZ monster with a different name by using that monster you control. This is treated as an XYZ summon. Transfer its materials to the summoned monster. Then you can destroy one card your opponent controls. Okay. At the end of the battle phase, if your K9 monster battle this turn, you can set this card from your graveyard, and it resets a lot. I guess. Hmm. Mm-hmm. If you don't have multiple copies, I don't think you get mileage out of that card, though. Vanquish Soul Start. Field spell. You can target one Vanquish Soul monster you control, add one Vanquish Soul monster with a different attribute from your deck to your hand. So far, not reading that good. If a Vanquish Soul monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can reveal one Vanquish Soul monster in your hand instead. Why do you care? Every effect on this field spell so far seems like terrible. During your end phase, if you control two or more Vanquish Soul monsters, you can set one Vanquish Soul trap from your deck. Like, literally, why do I care about any of these effects? Wow, this card's actually terrible. Like, if you just straight up release this card as is, like, only this card, and give this to Vanquish Soul players like last week, like, this card is terrible, right? This doesn't fix, like, most of the problems with Vanquish Soul. Like, I guess I can now play if I craft the UR Mad Love, and I happen to have that one, and I can normal summon it to activate Vanquish Soul Start, and then I have to link off Mad Love to then special summon Rosin from my hand. I don't think that's even combo. Like, do you know how depressing that is? That's crazy, right? And then we have, if a Vanquish Soul monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can reveal one Vanquish Soul monster in your hand instead. They're not going to be destroyed by card effect. They might be destroyed by battle, I guess. But like, why? Why do you care about this, right? This this doesn't really help you that much, honestly. So the reason this doesn't matter that much is because, well, first off, your Vanquish Soul guys are fairly large, right? So getting destroyed by battle, not that big of a deal. It just probably won't happen because you have so much removal. And then with destruction by card effect, well, you won't be destroyed by card effects if you have combo because um, you also have this effect, but with the Vanquish Soul trap that you're setting from the deck, that will be Snow Devil, and that just has an effect that prevents you from being destroyed by card effects. So, yeah, really not doing much, is it? If you control two or more Vanquish Soul monsters, so it has to be Vanquish Souls, Rokket the Vanquisher is not a Vanquish Soul monster, so that doesn't count. So you just need to somehow control two Vanquish Soul monsters to set a Vanquish Soul trap. And it's only during your end phase, not like it matters that much, because you have no way of recycling back row still. And you have to play the back row, which they're all bricks, because look, I can't like reveal a Vanquish Soul trap or spell or anything, right? The cards you want to search but never open, which makes this like really terrible because this is also a spell. So if I run this in my deck, the odds of opening monsters actually will be less because I have to cut monsters for the most part to fit in Vanquish Soul start, right? So I hate this card basically. The only like saving grace for this card would be what? I guess Mad Love could search this, but like even if you search this with Mad Love, does this go anywhere? I guess only because Holly Sue exists, right? But I still hate it, right? Let's see. Wait, where would I get a fire monster from? This still requires another. Ugh. I guess if I don't have the fire monster, I can't like combo with Rosin anyways. So I would have to do what? Reveal this card. Wait, this is during either main phase quick effect. Special summon this card from your hand. And then with Dark, we link off Madlove, add Madlove back to hand, so that's Dark. Fire, we would just need some sort of fire, and then we special summon Rosin, and then do like Vanquish Soul combo from there, I guess. That's just what we would have to do with this. And then I guess we would control at least Holly Sue plus one other Vanquish Soul monster. I mean, like, eh? Okay, yes, sure. And then you would you wouldn't have to add Snow Devil at least with Xiaolong, I guess. We can add Border for a draw, I suppose. Synchro Fellowship. Add two monsters from your deck to your hand, one Junk Synchron, and one monster that mentions Junk Warrior or Stardust Dragon, then discard that one card. So that's so you can normal summon, I guess, Junk Warrior. And the fact that you can add other monsters is if you already open the targets, I guess. So Junk Warrior has the effect to summon like a level 2 non-tuner, I believe. So that's why you discard a card, I guess. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one synchro monster you control, reduces level by 1, then you normal summon one synchro monster during your main phase this turn in addition to your normal summon slash set. So that would be to extra normal summon, I guess, Junk Synchron. Okay. Sure. Boral Reboot. New card. When your opponent activates a spell trap card, while you control a Rokket or Boral monster, negate the activation. And if you set that card face down on your opponent's field but cannot be activated this turn, you can activate this card from your hand by paying half your life points. This is basically just Red Reboot at home. Well, I mean, arguably a little bit better in some contexts, a little bit worse in some others. This works on spells, which Red Reboot doesn't, so it's like a little bit more flexibility. But of course, there's like a downside. Well, your opponent can still activate cards, you know? So a little bit better, a little bit worse in some contexts. Vanquish Soul rocks. New Vanquish Soul, rank 4, okay. Vanquish Soul monsters only. Once per turn, if a Vanquish Soul monster battled this turn, you can also XYZ summon Vanquish Soul rocks by using one Vanquish Soul monster or one Rocket Vanquisher. Transfer its materials to this card. I guess you can use this for Big Zeus then. Gains the following effects based on the attributes of its attached materials. Dark. All monsters your opponent controls lose its 800 attack. Fire. Vanquish Soul monsters you control gain 1000 attack. Earth. You can detach one material from this card. Destroy one card your opponent controls, so that's non-targeting Pop 1. Kind of mid, honestly. I might not even play this card. Like, yeah. The only thing it has going is kind of like the non-target removal, but also requires you to play Pantera, otherwise it doesn't have that effect. If this card is... Let's see, so wait. Da 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 da. Soft once per turn. Hmm? Wait, how's this effect work actually? It doesn't have a hard once per turn. It says it gains the following effects, and this just plainly says you can detach one material from this card. As cost, destroy one card your opponent controls. But you don't have to detach the earth material. So if I made this with, like, well, actually, what attribute is rock? Isn't rock a dark? Yeah, doesn't matter. But if I make this with Caesar, then we can opera it, and we actually return this to the extra deck. So it has like a little bit of versatility, like very little, but if we have these three, and we use that to make rocks, then we just activate rocks 3 times for 3 non-targeting pops. That's honestly still not that good because this isn't a quick effect. So you summon this, your coin just pops it, and then like, what's the point, right? But yeah, that's weird. All right, K966X Jax. To level 5 monsters, if this card is XYZ, summon over your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or graveyard unit. Detach one material from this card, then target one monster in the field, destroy it. No hard ones per turn on that, right? Nope, there is one. You can only use this effect of K966X Jax once per turn. A K9 XYZ monster that has this card as material gains this effect. During any turn in which your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard, any battle damage this card inflicts to your opponent is doubled. So that's supposed to be combined with the rank 9 or like some lethal damage, I guess, or something. Ooh, Anchor Bolt Hedgehog. Retrain. If you control a Junk Warrior or a monster that mentions it except Anchor Bolt Hedgehog, and this card is in your triggered quick effect, you can special summon this card in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for Synchro monsters. Okay. Scrap Synchron. For Synchro summon, you can substitute this card for any one Synchron tuner. You can only use each of the following effects of Scrap Synchron once per turn. You Synchro summon a monster that mentions a Synchron tuner as material. This card in your hand can also be used as material. If a monster you control that mentions Junk Warrior or is a synchro monster with warrior in its original name would be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can banish this card from your field or graveyard instead. Hollow Rocket Dragon. When a Link monster's effect is activated that targets this face-up card on the field, quick effect, you can destroy this card, then activate up to 6 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, banish one of them. And if you do, place the rest on the top of the deck in the same order. Oh. What? Huh? Okay. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field by battle or card effect, and sent there this turn, you can special summon one rocket monster from your deck, except for Hollow Rocket Dragon. Oh, that's normal. I guess that's to make this batter with, really, because this is a 6. Rocket Detonator. New card. A new 7 you could add, potentially, I guess. If you control a Dark Dragon Link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. A little bit different summoning condition, but okay. We have a Link 1, Dark Dragon Link, so not hard to get out at all. You can only special summon Rocket Detonator once per turn this way. You can target one Dark Dragon monster card in your spell and trap zone, special summon it. Ooh. But it cannot attack. Also, its effects are negated. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for dark monsters. That this is permanent. It can never attack, and its effects are always negated, interestingly enough. Well, okay. Junk Signal. Activate one of these effects. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. Except Synchro monsters, tribute one monster, special summon one monster except the tributed monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard that is Junk Warrior or Stardust Dragon, or that mentions either of them. What? Tribute one monster, special summon one monster. One monster. except the tributed monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. That is Junk Warrior or Stardust Dragon, or that mentions either of them. When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your synchro monster's effect, activation negate that effect. The second effect is a lot better than the first, I think, honestly. But this effect's just decent. Hmm. Okay. K9EW Special Release Experiment. Special summon one K9 monster from your hand or graveyard, then you special summon one K9 XYZ monster from your extra deck. By using that monster's material, this is treated as an XYZ summon. But destroy the monster special summon from the extra deck during the end phase of the next turn. During the end phase, you bash this card from your graveyard, then target one K9 play spell in your graveyard, set it. The K9 quick play spell, if that's the only one, I think that's kind of terrible, no? Alright, let's see. So it's hand or graveyard. So being able to special summon from a graveyard non-targeting, that's very hard to stop. And then in special summons just a K9. So you could go, well, it would mostly probably be for the Ripper, I guess. Okay. K9 down. Can't be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects that turn it is special summoned. A really crappy towers. Okay. Each time your opponent activates a monster effect, this card gains 500 attack when that effect resolves. Funny thing is, I think this beats Tenpai. Oddly enough. I mean, right? Technically, I could Izuna from hand, like after my board gets wiped or something, and after my cards get hit by like a droplet, and then we can just go ahead and sit on Hound. Yeah, okay. That's funny. Once returned during the standby phase, you can detach one material from this card, then target one card on the field, banish it. Oh, okay, sure. Crossroad Sonic Chicks. If a tuner is sent to your graveyard even during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. If it was there when the monster was sent, or hand even if not. But banish it when it leaves the field, then if Junk Warrior, or a monster that mentions it except this card is on the field, you can change all monsters your opponent controls 1,900 more attack to defense position. Also for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for synchro monsters. For what? So this is a lot of text, but basically special summon this card, and if you control a Junk Warrior or a monster that mentions it, change everything to defense position. Wait, optional change? Okay. K9 LC release restraint. Okay. There's at least one other quick play, I guess. Target one K9 XYZ monster or one rank 5 XYZ monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck one K9 XYZ monster with a different name by using that monster you control. This is treated as an XYZ summon. Transfer its materials to the summon monster. At the end of the battle phase, if your K9 monster battle this turn, you can set this card from your graveyard. I mean, do you have a way to... I don't remember. Do you have a way to recycle any of your, like, cards here? Like, your graveyard cards? Do you? Not really sure. But aside from that, this effect doesn't seem that good, honestly. I mean, it's like, this one's like more fine. Because I can go from like the Book of Moon monster into this monster, like the negate hand activation monster, and then if I detach, that pops a face down card, which is like okay, I guess. But for the canine cards, wouldn't you much prefer to like just play mostly the monsters because you need the monsters for starters and such? So If I want to splash this with something, I think that's just getting cut, right? A lot of those cards give this impression, like force release, right? Yeah, okay. Double interlock. Activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of double interlock once per turn. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing its materials from your graveyard, including a Rokket monster. So this can just make Dragoon, technically. Like, you don't have to make Dragoon, but it just could. Okay. Ritual summon one ritual monster from your hand by banishing monsters from your graveyard. Ooh. Not sure how I feel about this one, but alright. Ritual summon one ritual monster from your hand by banishing monsters from your graveyard whose total levels equal or exceed its level, including a Rokket monster. This is why you can equip the Link monster from Banish. It's because of this card. Yeah, alright. One-way synchro. Take one level 1 tuner from your deck or graveyard, and either add to your hand or special summon it. This is a trap. Okay. If you control Junk Warrior or a monster that mentions it, and this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card to banish it when it leaves the field. Okay, that's just like garbage, I think, right? Like, imagine going second with this. I set a card pass. My opponent attacks me directly. I guess I'll special summon like Jet Synchron in defense to block one attack. And then if I have a monster that mentions Junk Warrior or something, I can set this to do that again. Yeah, just summon Jet again, but this time from the graveyard, I guess. So, huh. I guess the only thing worth mentioning now is that since we're getting that Sprite kind of starter deck, Sprites don't activate in hand because, like, if they did activate in hand, you'd be able to make Thunder Dragon Colossus. So they on purpose released that structure deck at the same time as releasing K9. Hmm, interesting. That's all I got to say about that. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.